is they're not showing hostility in the sense of forceful nature. They must be sending a message. Robert, what is that message?
Very simply, you humans are being very foolish by having these weapons that could literally destroy. If you went to World War III and launched them against each other, literally destroy every living thing on this planet. Um, and I don't think anybody would disagree that we've got a multitude of very precious living things on this planet. Um, the least of all, uh, humans. So yeah, I think it was a message to us to abolish nuclear weapons, and that's what I've been promoting in all of my books. And I'm not saying that the U.S. should abolish their weapons unilaterally. It's that
No, it's a
we can
process.
we can do it together as a process, and that process has been initiated in the past. I know that during the Obama administration, we signed a treaty. What was it called? Not SALT. Was anyway. We did sign a treaty with Russia to reduce the number of operational weapons and also work towards the abolishment of nuclear weapons.
Yes.
And the United Nations has also made a declaration very similar to that, but now with the conditions with Russia and the U.S. Uh, Russia is now no longer following that treaty.
Yeah. And the current geopolitical landscape is honestly it's terrifying. It you know from Russia and Ukraine down to uh, Israel and Hamas, that war. There's just a lot going on right now, um, and it just feels very tense, and that we're one miscalculation, one misunderstanding, one bad reaction away from complete annihilation.
Well, it's a very dangerous situation we find ourselves in. Iran, as you know, is threatening to attack Israel and in retaliation. Um, and Iran has the capability of obtaining nuclear weapons very quickly. They have worked on um, enriching their uranium
Uranium.
stockpiles
Yep.
and have a certain amount of weapons grade enriched
Plutonium.
uranium. Yeah. Uh, and now, and of course, Israel is a nuclear power. They have nuclear weapons, although it hasn't been announced officially, but uh, analyses I've seen for a long time state that Israel does have nuclear weapons. And of course, NATO has tactical nuclear weapons where uh, Russia has both tactical and strategic, and they have threatened to use tactical in the war in Ukraine. Uh, India and Pakistan are at war with each other over Kashmir, and they are both nuclear powers
Mm-hmm.
and could use nukes at any time. So once nukes are used again, we were the last to use them during World War II. But once these so-called tactical or small nukes are used in any kind of a conflict, I think there would be a quick escalation of more countries wanting to obtain nuclear weapons.
Well, well, well. Don't we have a use them or lose them policy?
I'm sorry, say that again.
It's my understanding that the United States has use them or lose them type of policy in which they would not just launch one weapon, they would launch all of them.
Well, I don't know. I've never read a policy like that. The policy I have read is it's called the Nuclear Posture Review. The last one that was done was I think 2022, but it is the nuclear deterrence, or having a preponderance of nuclear weapons over our enemy, which in this case is Russia, is a baseline or absolute necessity for our policy of nuclear deterrence, and that's what we've established at this point. In other words, that is the basis of our national security.
And
Now,
well,
first, you may be talking about first use. Um, that's a very fuzzy issue, and that is if the U.S. or Russia has the same kind of policy, thinks that we are about to be attacked with nuclear weapons, then we have the policy that we could launch to preclude such an attack. So that's
like a
called
preemptive launch.
a preemptive launch. Yeah, that's first use policy. Now, uh, there's a lot of internal things that have to happen, but uh, these are, like I said, they're kind of fuzzy policies, and which goes back to your point earlier, and that is that we could have a third world war by accident, similar to other wars that we've been engaged in, misunderstandings or some incident that happened accidentally, etc. Um,
It really terrifies me.
so it is a terrifying situation, and that's why we should work hard. We should all work hard towards this abolishment of nuclear weapons, which we can do if we put our minds to it.
I truly do think that one day we will get there. I have hope for this. I have hope for humanity. Now, a lot of people asked me behind the scenes. Um, so there's something known as the hitchhiker effect. Now, I'm not too privy on your experiences, and so this is new territory for me. Um, but have you had any encounters with the phenomena? And I say phenomena because I do think we're dealing with multiple phenomena, not just a singular phenomenon. But have you had any experience with the phenomena after the incident at Maelstrom?
Yes,
Okay, would you care to elaborate?
sure. I have actually written about this in two of my books. Uh, Very briefly, in 1985, so this was sometime after my incident, but prior to my going public on the Malmstrom incidents. In 1985, I was living in a particular house in the South Bay area of California here. And one evening, uh, I woke up. I was sleeping, of course, In the middle of the night, I woke up and noticed a blue light emanating from our living room. I woke my wife up, and this is my version. She's got a slightly different version, but I woke my wife up and asked her if she saw this blue light coming from our living room, which was strange because we knew we didn't have any blue lights in the house. And she acknowledged seeing this blue light, and I said, "Well, I'm going to have to get up and investigate. We might have someone in the house." And of course, at that time, we had two small children living with us in our home. I started to get up and couldn't because I became paralyzed. And I know people talk about sleep paralysis, but this wasn't that. I recall fighting very hard to retrieve some ability to move my legs, my arms, etc. But I was having a very difficult time. I turned to ask my wife for help, and at this point, she was unconscious, which is unusual because we had just agreed that there may be someone had broken into our house. So
That's not something you just fall asleep over.
no.
Oh my God.
Like I said, we had two small children also, and
Right.
a couple of
So,
other rooms.
and that also tells me that this is not sleep paralysis because you were able to wake her up
Yeah.
and to move, and then all of a sudden you became restrained.
Yes. So I was fighting this paralysis when I saw someone just uh, uh, in the doorway of our bedroom, and it had a hood on. So it had a dark hood. Um, I could not make, or I don't recall what the face looked like, or I couldn't make it out, or it was too dark. Um, but of course, that was frightening. And then I started to relax a little bit, but then felt or sensed that there were other beings in the room, and these were small beings. I thought they were childlike or children, but at that point, I was lifted off the bed, and I was floating towards a closed window that we had in the bedroom. Uh, and I thought, well, these are two small children. I don't think they'll be able to reach the latch and open the window. But they didn't bother with that. They just took me right through the window. I know that sounds a little ridiculous, but this is what I recall. I've had 4 hypnotic regression sessions to recover these memories. But I went right through that window. There was no broken glass or anything.
I've had so many people on this podcast that have said things, and that's actually a very common theme. Is now my theory on this is, do you think that you could have been abducted astrally? So more or less your body remained in the position it was, but they took your astral form instead, and that's why you're able to pass through walls.
Well, I don't. Again, with my left brain here, I don't understand what astral means.
So
Or etheric body or light body. These are terms I've heard. Uh, I believe we all have souls, etc. But I can't explain how this happened.
okay, so basically what I'm saying is they abducted your soul